nodes are stored in the toolbar here and arranged in logical groups. You have here the image group. The most important nodes in this group are the read and the write nodes, and one or two utility nodes for constructing things like solid sheets of color and such like. You have the draw menu, which will make stuff like shapes here and gradients or ramps, rectangles, even text. The most important node here is probably the Bezier. You will find that generally, not always, generally the most important nodes in any menu have a little are available through a single keystroke, in this case the P for the Bezier. You have the time menu, which will act upon the timing of your image sequence. Nuke is not a brilliant editor or time editor, but in order to do compositing, you will need to on occasion play around with the time sequence, and we've got some interesting stuff here. We have, for instance, the excellent optical flow, which is useful for producing a super slow motion footage from ordinary footage. We have the channel menu, very useful: shuffle, shuffle copy, and copy. These are for moving channels around within an image. You can also add channels and remove them. Generally, I think, in my experience, the most important one is the shuffle copy, although the copy does much the same and is a little easier to use. You have the color menu. Nuke has some marvelous color editing nodes. Couple of very good ones. Color space. What have you got? Color lookup. That's my favorite. So where are we now? Let's just move back a bit and in. So that's the color. Now we have here the filter, and these will produce effects upon the image per pixel arrangements. For instance, you can do an emboss, or you could do a strange sort of graining or degraining effects. So that's the filter menu. The keyer. Now, compositing would not be compositing without a keyer of some kind, and a keyer, the purpose of a keyer is to remove an object from a background, and generally that is done through color, through either a green or a blue background, which accounts for the green and the blue background of these icons. And the most useful of these is probably Primat. Keyer and Hue Keyer are occasionally produce some very good results, and IBK Gizmo and IBK Color, they're always used together as image-based keying. They can be very, very powerful, but they're a little bit difficult to use. But certainly the Primat is one that you should get to learn. You have the merge nodes, or the merge filter. The most important one is the merge node, which is it's a single node that can do many different kinds of merges, and without a doubt that is a node that you're going to have to learn. But you also have something like the add mix, which is very good for, say, merging between timelines and stuff like that. So that's the merge. Now you have the transform. Let's again zoom back a bit. Transform will move an image around, or move your sequence around in a simple way, like a simple transform, or you could grab its corners and distort it around. Yeah, so that's the transform menu. What have you got? You've got the 3D menu, a small menu but extremely powerful. I would suggest that you don't go near that until you're more familiar with the more ordinary 2D aspects of Nuke. And then you have a stereo submenu, which is great fun, I absolutely promise you, especially if you happen to own a pair of red-green glasses. But again, that's for a slightly more advanced use. This is just a plugin which I've purchased. And you also have the the etc. menu, which is actually a very useful set of utilities. You have, for example, the no-op, which does absolutely nothing, and you'll be surprised how often you need to do that. Or something like the backdrop, which will produce a backdrop upon which you can lay your other nodes, and you can make notes within the backdrop. So it's very good for organizing the appearance of your nodes using this submenu. And finally, we have down here a sub menu. Let's just go back here, and if we zoom in there, no, yep, about as close as we can get. Let's go back, just show you how many there are. So that there's a whole bunch of nodes there. Now some of them are the ones that are buried in those other menus, but some of them are kind of special more experimental ones that aren't deemed fit in one way or another for one reason or another to go in the main menu, but are nonetheless can be very, very useful. So that's the node collection. Quite a lot of stuff there, and there you go.